Hi, it's Lenneke from Len's Crafty Life, and I have been tagged by Avi Follydo. Avi, thank you. I'm honored that you tagged me, and I'll do my best to get these 10 questions answered and to not make the table shake because my camera is attached to the table. So I'll do my best to answer these 10 questions in about 20 minutes because I think that's about supposed to be the time that I have for this, to make it not too long. Okay, question number one. My name. My name is Lenneke. That's the way you pronounce it. Lenneke. I've had all sorts of... I lived in the UK and they called me Lennika, Lenniki, Lennique. I've heard so many very creative ways to pronounce my name. It is supposed to be Lenneke, but I kind of like to see what people come up with when they pronounce my name. So my name is Lenneke. That's my first name. I was born Lenneke van Doorn. It means literally from thorn. Thorn. Doorn is the name of a very small village here in the Netherlands. So I think, I've never looked into it, but I think some of my ancestors may be from that little village. So that might be why that's my last name. Lenneke is actually derived from another name, Helena, which is actually a French name. I was, the names that were given to me at my birth, I have a Roman Catholic background, and here in the Netherlands at least, they used to give you 3 names. So I was actually named after the 3 youngest sisters of my mother. My mother is the eldest of 10. And the 3 names, or the 3 official names of the 3 little sisters of my mum, were Helena, Jeannette, Leonora. So those are my official names. Those are the names that are in my passport. But here in the Netherlands, it is very common, if you have your official names that are in your passport, right at birth already, you get what is called like a calling name. It's not a nickname. It's not the same as a nickname. It is the name that your parents want you to be called, which may be very well be different from your official name. So the name Lenneke comes from Helena. Len is in there, and that is the calling name. The name that my parents want me to be called at birth was Lenneke. So there you go. My surname now is Plat, P-L-A-T, Plat, which literally in Dutch means flat. Can't help it, but anyway, because I'm married to a guy whose last name is Plat. So there you go, that's my name. Then my YouTube name is called Len's Crafty Life. I was first thinking of something with Lenneke, but I thought, well, nobody can pronounce that worldwide, so at least not very easily. So I thought that's too hard to remember how to spell it. I thought nobody's gonna remember my channel name if I do anything with my full name, Lenneke. So I did want to do something with my name in it because I wanted it to be personal. So I chose Len's Crafty Life, especially also because I'm not into just one craft. I like many different crafts, so I didn't want it to be Len's scrapbooking or Len's, you know, soft furnishing or Len's fabric life, whatever. I just called it like crafty. Anything with crafts I basically like, so it kind of covers probably everything I do and I want to do still in the future. Anything crafty that I want to show here and make videos of. So that's my YouTube name. So then question number 3 is my favorite craft. Well, as I just explained, I like many different kinds of crafts. And that is probably one of my problems as well, because I can't focus on just one thing. I like fabric crafts the most. I do have to admit, I like to work with fabric, but I like papers as well. I like mixed media as well. I like painting, even though I don't do that very much. I like, you name it, I'll probably like it. Miniatures, yes, miniatures, I like very much. I haven't done much with them. Well, I once made a long time ago 1 tiny little thing, or 3 tiny little things, which I'll show you later. So I just love crafts in general. So favorite craft, well, fabric, and then second paper and mixed media. Well, you pick it. I like it. Okay, question number 4. Favorite places to buy my crafts? Well, first of all, you probably know or have seen some of my charity craft hauls. My first port of call would be charity shops. I have several, about 4 or 5 that I like to go to, but especially 2 of those are my favorites because they are the cheapest, and that happened to be the 2 that I worked at. So sometimes, not the first one, but the second one, if the boss or manager that I worked for back then is behind the till, he sometimes gives me even a discount on the even very low prices that they already have, which of course I don't say no to, right? So I like to get good deals. So charity shops, car boot sales is another great one. We don't have many of those, only during the summer months. There's once every 2 weeks. Then there is something called Marktplaats, which is kind of like the Dutch eBay. Yeah, it's a bit different, but it's kind of like that. Private people can sell things off there just when they're done with things, and I mainly get a lot of dies and like the big dies I really like, because those are the thick black dies that you can use through your machine like a Big Shot or something else, and because it goes through paper as well as through fabric as well as through sturdier cardboard, I just love those, and I like the boxes in the envelope. Big dies. I should do more with that, like with everything else that I've got, because that's what I was gonna say. It's also that I like so much is also a problem, because I buy anything and everything that I like. I like to alter things. I need to get more into altering things. I've got so many boxes, dress forms, birds houses, you name it, I've got it. I can probably start my own charity shop here. Yeah. My husband is not too happy with that, but bless him, he's very sweet and very patient with me. So I got loads of that because I wanted to alter things and send those off worldwide for challenges. But the thing is that only later I found out that postage prices can be ridiculous. Especially here from the Netherlands, is if anything is thicker, if your package is thicker than about 1/3/4 inch, which is about this thick, if it's thicker than that, then you pay an outrageous amount of postage. So all those 3D things that I want to alter and that I would have loved sending you for your challenges, I just can't afford it. So I still have those, I still want to alter those, but then I'll probably have to send them because I don't have space to keep everything myself, and I don't even want to keep everything myself. I just like to craft, so I do want to get into altering things more and journaling, and well, I have to stop thinking now because the list is getting too long. I was on to favorite places to buy my craft. So Marktplaats was another one, the Dutch kind of eBay. Then AliExpress I'm just discovering because I'm looking also for tiny miniature things, and it's like the nail art things, and you don't really find those on Marktplaats much or in charity shops. So via AliExpress I've got some really cute tiny little clay roses and other bits and pieces. And then lastly, of course, I like to go for about 4 times a year. I go to a craft fair. That's twice the same because there are, how do you say, bi-yearly, every 6 months. So this is one every 6 months and this is the other every 6 months. And I like to pick up some good craft fair deals there as well. Then question number 5, my top 5 crafters or channels. A very difficult question to answer because of course you don't want to leave anybody out. Well, first of all, let me tell you, if I'm subscribed to you, I probably like your crafts. And I just, otherwise I probably wouldn't have been subscribed to you. And if you have beautiful crafts and in the shabby chic style and I'm not subscribed to you yet, let me know. I like anything shabby chic. I like journaling, vintage. So if you have crafts in that and I'm not subscribed to you yet and you're subscribed to me, send me a message below this video because I may not be aware of your subscription and what you make. So let me know. So top 5 crafters channels. I will name a few, mainly some that I am not much in touch with. That is because most of the ones that I'm going to mention now are into paper crafting, into journaling, and I'm only just about to get into those. So at the moment, I like to watch those channels. Before it was everything with fabric, Maggie Smith, you know, and anything and everything with fabric. Now I'm more getting into journaling and paper crafting as well. So at the moment, I'm watching quite a lot of those kind of channels. So please don't feel offended if I don't mention you. The first 2 I am personally in touch with, definitely, or there's one more. First of all is Monique from Shabby Monique Brocante. Okay, what I just said about the paper crafting doesn't totally apply to her. She's into paper crafting as well, but I love everything she makes, but especially, of course, the miniature things. I love, love, love miniature things, and especially the way she makes them in a shabby chic and brocante, like vintage style. Brocante is kind of, well, you probably know what it means. Brocante is a Dutch word, probably comes from French, I don't know, but it's basically vintage. So I love her miniature. I love dress forms, and she makes so many miniature kind of little shops or rooms with dress forms in them. So I adore that stuff, and I am very privileged being Dutch as well. She's Dutch, and having met her a few times, and we would like to meet up more, and she's going to teach me a few things. Yay! So she already has taught me how to make tiny little, like a watering can. So cute. Let me quickly grab it. It's so cute. You have to see it. Just a second. It's right here. And it's so cute. I hope I'm not going to go over time. This is the tiny little watering can. I'm not sure if I'm in focus, but you can see how small it is, that Monique taught me personally when I was visiting her. And she very sweetly gave me one of her own homemade dress forms so I can make a mold out of it and make my own miniature dress forms. Yay! Because I love miniature and dress forms, but you know that by now. Okay, moving on. So I love her channel. Then Chrissy Crosser, paper crafter mainly. Love her. I'll have to go through this a bit quicker. G. Kerr, great crafter as well. Then the rest is all mainly paper crafting, because as I said, that's what I'm watching mostly at the moment, apart from my friends here on YouTube that I'm trying to keep up with. Artie Mays, Craft Angel Online, Wendy's Journal Adventure, Carol Tinson, The Firefly Studio 67, Fiona J, The Journal Crafter, Nick the Booksmith, Tracy Fox, Love Junk Journals, and Treasure Books. Well, that's just some of the ones that I watch at the moment, mainly to get ideas for paper crafting, for journaling, altering envelopes, that kind of thing. Then my favorite color is soft pink, whites and creams. Those I like most. I like vintagey colors as well, but I do think that those are my top 3 colors. The combination of those, it's just so pretty, and you know, pretty little roses, and you know, it's just very girly. Then number 7, favorite craft tool. Well, I've got a few. First of all, my handy glue gun. It's been well used, as you can see, and especially like this one, Hot Melt Hobby. Oh, it's a Bison International. This is from, and especially like this one. I got a few others that I bought. You know, I got this one because I thought it was a thin nose tip. Well, it wasn't just a thin nose tip, it was just a long nose tip, and it's getting very hot. you burn your fingers, get blisters, anything with that. Still have it though. And this one the same, hot melt glue gun. I've used it, it's very hot, so I like this one the most. I think this one was my first and I like it the best. So this is by Bison because it's getting hot, but when you sometimes you need to touch it to stick things down in the hot glue, and it's getting hot. It still hurts a bit, but I don't get the blistered, so it's this one is manageable, so very happy with that one. Then for my fabric, I like my fabric scissors. I keep them in this package especially so nobody can confuse this and use it for paper, because you shouldn't use your fabric scissors on paper because they get blunt more often. And this one is from a Dutch brand, Jan Sikkens. So love these. They cut through fabric like a knife through butter, as they say in England. Then also for fabric, I like this one. You just basically slide this down, and then this blade comes out. So it's a rolling knife, which is great for large pieces, especially again for, it doesn't really have a brand name on there, does it? Especially for fabric is this Dava Pet Worldwide. Don't know if you can see that, but I keep that especially just for fabric as well. I absolutely love it with my cutting board and my ruler to, if you want square edges, and which is sometimes handier than the scissors. So I love that for my fabric crafts. Then for paper crafting, I feel like I'm selling this stuff. I'm not selling this stuff. I'm not getting any money out of this, okay? It's the Tonic Studios. I feel like this assistant on a television show. Anyway, the Tonic Studios cutting mat, because it's got a few nifty things. If I can make it work, you see these kind of orange dots. If you press these, it comes out and it extends. It is, I hope you can see that, it is in centimeters at the top, it is in inches at the bottom, which for me, being Dutch, we go by centimeters, but of course lots of videos and things that I you know, tutorials may go in inches. So it was, for me, very handy to have both. And what I especially like about this one, oh, sorry, hit the table there, is it goes all the way on till where you actually cut it. A lot of cutting boards kind of stop here, and then if you want just half an inch or a few millimeters, then you can't see how much that is because there's nothing here to measure it by. So my tip for you, if you haven't got a cutting board yet and you want one, that's what you should get, according to me at least. Then the other thing that I like and use much with paper crafting, especially if I make albums, which I've done a few times now, is an inch as well as a centimeter scoring board. So those are very handy as well. So anyway, that's about 6 favorite craft tools, but 3 for fabric and 3 for paper. So I hope that's okay. Question 8 is, where did my love for crafting come from? Well, that's a very good question. I think it came straight from God. And I honestly mean that. I'm a born-again Christian. God loves you. But my love for crafting, my mum does not craft. My dad does not craft. My sister does not craft. So I don't think I got it from any from them. I later found out when my uncle, my dad's brother, had passed away, that he had been crafting into clay, making his own clay photo frames. So, but that's an uncle, so it's not a straight line. But anyway, there's some kind of craft somewhere in the family. From my mother, she's the eldest of 10 brothers and sisters. I don't know any of them who are creative with crafting. I don't know. So it came from God. Any talent comes from God anyway. So question number 9, when did you first start crafting? Well, of course, as a little girl you learn all sorts of crafts, But when I really started noticing that I loved crafts was actually in high school. I was about 16, I think, 16 or 17 years old, and we had this class in a high school, and it was a textile class. We had like a craft class with sewing, with I don't know, with the rough materials like wood or plexiglass or, you know, the rough materials. And then we had another class which was like the textile class. And I absolutely loved that class. And we had to make an item for clothing, and I made for the very first and very last time, I made my own pair of trousers, and we had limited materials that we had to pick from, and I love this blue checked material, blue and black checked material. It's like gingham material, and it was quite bright blue. It wasn't enough to make the two legs of the trousers, so they had the exact same material in red. So guess what I did? I had trousers with one blue gingham checked leg and a red gingham checked leg, and I wore it and I was proud of it. So I never got into dressmaking after that. It's too precise for me. I'm not that good with measuring like physical body shapes, but I just love, we made a miniature room, Monique. We made a miniature room. I don't have it anymore. I absolutely love doing that as well. The walls of cardboard, and the only your own tiny furniture you had to make, and soft furnishings for it, and little cushions and chairs and curtains and whatever. I think I had a hammock in mine, but loved doing that. So after that, didn't do anything at all craft-wise till I was married with my first husband. He was an Englishman, and he worked for an international company, a Christian company, and I worked for a few years for that company as well. But me being married to him, they had like every half a year they had I'm going way over time. I'm sorry. I'll try to keep it quick. I'm at question number 9. So every 6 months, all the directors of the offices, and my husband was the director of the UK office, they would meet at some place on the globe, just anywhere where there was an office. So this one time, and the guy, he was a Bible teacher, Derek Prince. I don't know if you've heard of it. The organization I'm talking about is Derek Prince Ministries. So Derek Prince and his wife Ruth, they really believed that, great Bible teacher, by the way, look him up on YouTube. He doesn't live anymore, but he has such good teaching. Anyway, I was very privileged working with them, and they really believed in marriage. So they wanted, whenever they had a worldwide directors meeting, they wanted their wives to be there as well. So this one time we had to go to Malaysia, and my husband said, when we're in Malaysia, coming all the way from the UK, we might as well enjoy ourselves, have some time off after that. So we went from Malaysia, and there's a point to this story, bear with me. We went from Malaysia to Sydney, Australia, to New Zealand for a week, beautiful countries both, to Fiji for a week, Paradise Island, very nice. Then from there on to San Francisco for 3 days, and from there on to Charlotte, North Carolina, where the head office was of this company, and then on to the UK. So we literally went within 3 weeks around the globe, and I had to spend 53 hours on planes, not counting the waiting time to get on the plane in the airports. And I was like, what on earth am I going to do in 53 hours? So that was within 3 weeks. It's insane. Beautiful trip, by the way, but it's so many hours on planes, and I'm not a very good sleeper on plane. You're jet lagged, and of course you're not tired enough to sleep, you're not awake enough to want to read, and of course right then there's no good movie on, right? So I thought I need something to do that will keep me busy, and I picked up some cross stitch, and I thought, well, I'm probably 80 years old now. I thought cross stitch was something for very, very old people, but I did it on the last leg home from Charlotte, North Carolina to the UK. And I finally did it and I was hooked. I love cross stitch. Haven't been doing it much, but let me show you one of the things. You may have seen it. I did a video on this. This is a birth sampler for Lauren, whom I had the challenge for recently. And with all the Beatrix Potter images now, I made this, I combined this sampler myself. I had a book with all these individual images and I combined them myself, put them in the right corners where I thought they were facing inwards. And I measured the swirls myself and everything, and picked up the alphabet. So that's one that I made, which I think is beautiful. It's hanging in her room. And this is the other one that I made for Megan, my other daughter. And this, again, I combined